Coming up on Network Africa, the Netherlands expels Eritrea's ambassador, Zuma, asking him to leave the country. President Emerson Mnangagwa says his country would hold elections for the first time within 4 to 5 months. And head of South Africa's ruling party, African National Congress, Cyril Ramaphosa, calls for urgent prosecution of corrupt individuals and companies. Hello and welcome to the program. I'm Joke Rogers. We begin in the Netherlands, where the Eritrean ambassador to the country has been declared persona non grata and asked to leave the country. A letter signed by the Dutch Minister of Foreign Affairs outlined the reasons for the severe diplomatic penalty. The decision relates to a broadcast that said Eritrean refugees were being forced to pay a diaspora tax for consular services at the country's embassy in The Hague. However, the government has decided not to close down the entire embassy against the will of a majority in the Dutch parliament, saying it'll make it impossible to help Eritreans. In Zimbabwe, President Emerson Mnangagwa says elections will be held within 4 to 5 months, calling on all citizens to ensure an indisputable result. He made the announcement during an official trip to Mozambique, adding that peaceful elections are critical to repositioning the nation as a democratic country. President Mnangagwa, who has served as Mr. Mugabe's deputy, replaced the longtime leader as head of the governing ZANU-PF party. This will be the first election since independence in 1980. The election is expected to hold between July and August, the 22nd of July to 22nd of August. Sudan's veteran opposition leader Sadiq al-Mahdi has called on the Sudanese people to rise against the regime as protests against the high cost of living and the government's economic policies continue. Speaking at a press conference in Khartoum, Mahdi said the regime has sunk into a new low and has lost any opportunity for dialogue. Mr. Mahdi vows the protests will not stop, but appealed to soldiers and police not to make any arrests. Well, the leader of South Africa's ruling party, the African National Congress, Cyril Ramaphosa, has called on prosecutors to act urgently in the investigation of corrupt practices and individuals and companies. Local media reports most of this week say that he has gone on the offensive against companies controlled by the controversial Gupta family, who are businessmen and friends of President Jacob Zuma. The Gupta family and Mr. Zuma continue to deny any wrongdoing. Mr. Zuma, who has also denied numerous corruption allegations against him since taking office in 2009, said that last week that he would set up a commission of inquiry into allegations of influence peddling in the government. Meanwhile, dozens of English-speaking school children at the center of a language dispute still in South Africa are to move to another school while local authorities appeal a court ruling. Ovaval High School in the northeastern Gauteng province had been ordered by local authorities to take in a group of local students and teach them in English, but the school insisted it will only teach in Afrikaans, and their decision was backed by a court, leading to protests outside the school gates. A spokesman for Gauteng's education department said he's pleased that the parents of 55 English-speaking pupils at the school have agreed for their kids to be admitted at a nearby Riverside High School in the meantime, as the department is still pursuing its appeal against the High Court ruling. Tanzanian President John Magufuli has condemned parents giving contributions to public primary schools, insisting it's the duty of the government to provide free education. According to local media, free government primary education was introduced in 2002, and in 2015, the Education Ministry banned state schools from seeking contributions from parents or guardians. State schools have been known in the past to request contributions from parents of about $100 a year, a fee many find difficult to afford at this time. British Prime Minister Theresa May has promised to send military helicopters to a French counter-terrorism operation in Mali. The confirmation is expected to be announced at a UK-France summit later on today. The 3 Royal Air Force Chinook helicopters would give logistical support to French troops fighting Islamist militants. It's part of a broader counter-terrorism and military efforts there by the United Nations. Now, the EU and the African Union. Britain is also expected to promise about £50 million in additional aid for those affected by epidemics, natural disasters and conflicts across Mali, Niger, Chad, North Cameroon, Burkina Faso and Mauritania.